I know for a fact that I covered this before. I just don't know when. But the government does not does not care about us no matter who we vote for. Um, when it comes to the health and safety of the the people don't matter as long as the 1% that's on top stays on their throne. Now, what I'm trying to get at is our food supply and the prices for the food that we consume. Admittedly, um, I was one of those guys that was like, maybe you should buy healthier foods, you know, and, go to the gym, lose some weight and whatnot. And everything is easier said than done because the food that we have right now, all of it is processed, all of it, and not the good process, the bad process. There's some type of poison in our food that causes us to have diabetes, cancer, brain disease and tumors, liver disease, and even gout. Um, when I first discovered that I was pre-diabetic, um, I just got out the Navy, and they took my blood and everything like that, and they said that I was pre-diabetic, and I'm thinking like how's that possible? And when I was in the military, even though I worked out every single day and um and I ate the food that they provided us, um it still caused me to be pre-diabetic. But it's not just the food, it was also my own choice and own doing because 90% of the sailors on that ship survived off of Red Bull. No, sorry, it was a Monster and cigarettes. Um, like the Uncrustables peanut butter and jelly snacks, cigarettes and Monster energy drinks was also a form of currency in the on the ship. And there's been times where you you work long hours, just monotonous, ongoing, constant hours doing monotonous maintenance and monotonous flight operations and monotonous cleaning and just everything being monotonous. um, you realistically only get about 4, maybe 5 hours of sleep on a very good day. So when we wake up, the first thing we all do is buy a Monster, which was like $3.25. That's crazy. That's outrageous. But, you know, we pay for it. And then we go to the smoke pit and smoke our cigarettes while we have Monster for breakfast. So, with that being said, it's not that we wanted to. I didn't want to, but it just so happens that, you know, um, we were compelled to do so. And that brings us to today where, you have people out there that would be more than happy to buy all these, fruits and vegetables, but that costs more than buying a sandwich at McDonald's. You know, that's completely wild and absurd, you know. And and then water buying water costs more than buying soda, which is crazy. So we we eat to live, not live to eat. So when we buy these foods and drinks, deep down in the back of our head, we know that like cigarettes or any other drug, we all know um that it will kill us eventually, but um there's nothing that we can do about it unless if our government says something about it. Now, keep in mind we had Democratic, Republican, and it kept going back and forth since I was a child. And as far as I remember, since the late '70s or early '90s, you know, other corporations have been poisoning our food since that time. And the poisoning is going to get worse every single year the more that we allow it to happen. And there was a time where I wanted to be a vegetarian and eventually be a vegan, but that was way too expensive because you're paying for quality. I think the vegans that are existing today, they have their job and income to sustain themselves, to actually, have that kind of diet, but we have families, mothers and fathers, students, professionals, going about their daily lives, eating to live, and they spend $5 on a salad and will be hungry by the next 20 to 30 minutes, or they could go to McDonald's with the same amount of currency and sustain themselves longer than 20 or 30 minutes until their next meal period comes. you know and then with myself, my diabetes got worse over the years because in my head I'm thinking like, I'm a pretty healthy individual. I could lose this weight pretty easily, which I did. you know I got active as best as I could. I got active, and I lost the weight. Even though I lost the weight, the levels of my diabetes still shot up. And then you have this doctor with her PhD that's like, oh, maybe you should exercise more. Then it's like, well, thank you for the advice, but what the hell do you think I'm doing? And then they're telling you you should cut out rice, you should cut out carbs, you should cut out all this stuff, and it's like, okay, I would like to, but unfortunately, um, that's not a feasible option for someone with an income like mine. And then I called my aunt, one of my oldest aunts, and this was about um, sometime before Christmas. I called her, and you know, she was like, I want you to get on, food stamps, and so you could buy food. And it's like I applied, and they only gave me $23. They gave me $23 on top of the additional um, income that I'm already making. So you have rent, or your mortgage, then you have your light bill or your other utilities, then you have your car payment, then you have your car insurance, and then you have gas to put in the car, and then maybe your miscellaneous maintenance on the car. Then you have to um, pay for your medical, assuming that even if you have a job that offers you medical, you're still paying for that medical. you know so those seven things factor into your daily lifestyle, and then you'll have money left over to buy your food or your water. And when you have the money left over, it's not nearly enough to sustain a family, or even yourself. you know and then you have to go to bed and wake up to repeat the same process in order to have a little bit left over so you can eat again. So with that little money, you have to buy rice, because it comes in a bag, and one cup of rice could feed a family of three or four. But that's just one serving of rice. You see what I'm saying? And then and then you have money left over to buy ramen noodles. And then you have money left over to buy some cereal, and then some milk. And milk, that spoils within like 2 weeks of you buying it. So after 2 weeks, you're gonna have to buy more milk, which is why I buy lactate milk, because I am somewhat lactose intolerant. But at the same time, that lactose milk lasts 3 to 4 times longer than regular milk. Even with that milk is processed. I finally looked at the ingredients, and I'm like, damn, like I'm being poisoned. But I have to survive some way, somehow. So it is what it is. I buy the milk that lasts longer, but at the same time, I'm also killing myself with it too. And then, you buy bread, and then it's like you buy meat, you buy chicken, pork or beef that's going to expire within 2 days if you don't freeze it. So, and for for 8 wings, it's like the average price is like $8 to $9. For 2 cuts of like sirloin steak, that's like the average is like $13. And then you have your ground beef, and I guess you can make a hamburger or spaghetti with that or something. But it goes without saying, the even though you freeze the meat, it still ages somewhat. It ages somewhat, just at a slower rate. So by the time when you unthaw it, you're eating old meat, and the meat is probably processed in its own way. And then, you know, after all that, you get some health nut that's like, oh, eat healthier, and it's like, we're trying. And then it's like, well, maybe you should lose some weight. And then it's like, okay, you could do home exercises, but not everyone could do a push up or a sit up. I can't because I got a messed up shoulder. Thank God I'm having surgery on the 4th. And then um and then sit ups. Like, it's a little awkward doing sit ups in your home because, like, you need something a little heavy to hold your feet into place. You know, like my couch, for example, I could use it, but, like, if I'm doing a sit up, the momentum of me going up is going to lift up the couch a little bit. And then there's pull ups. How can you do a pull up in your own home? Running in places. So I think the most viable exercise that you could possibly do in your own home without damaging anything around you is probably push ups, jumping jacks, or running in places. You know, and even if we could go to the gym, you have gym memberships too. You know, you have gym memberships where, like the Edge Fitness, for example. You know, they say it's 24 hours, but their gym is not 24 hours. And even when you go to the gym, they give you like special tier memberships. And then you have gyms like Planet Fitness where they allow certain groups into certain restrooms where you won't feel comfortable going to. And then you have LA Fitness, which is like, they're trying to be bougie, but you know they have the same equipment like any other gym that you could go to. you know and when I went to Armstrong Fitness Center in West Haven, I took it for granted because, like, the gym was ridiculously cheap. You know, at the time when, before Laney sold the gym, I paid $100 for the whole entire year of my gym. And then when I wanted to branch out with my gym membership, you know, I tried Edge Fitness, and I realized, like, even though I told them, like, I don't want to be a membership, I don't want to have a membership with them anymore, they're still charging me. So there's that aspect of someone trying to get healthy. you know and then but even if someone wants to go to the gym, do they have the time to go to the gym before they have to wake up and do adult things? So So yeah, we're all stuck in this plateau, until the government decides to say, hey, enough is enough. you know because when I went to Thailand and France and Singapore, it was mainly Thailand and Singapore. When I went there, and I ate their food, it was and Dubai as well. I forgot them. So when I went to Singapore, Dubai, and Thailand, the food felt good, and I didn't feel, because I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way, but when I eat food here, I feel a little guilty and slightly sick. But I think feeling slightly sick is the minute poison that's working its way into the system. But putting that aside, when I eat food here, I feel slightly sick. But when I ate food over there, it felt really good. And then this I was on YouTube, and this one girl was like, yeah, she's from Ghana, and then she moved to England, which their food is almost as bad as ours, but I think any food that's not in the United States is better than you know what we have over here. So, and then she said she moved to the US, and for she didn't move, she came to the US for vacation, and she ate the food here, and the whole entire time that she stayed here, she was constantly sick until she had to go back home to Ghana to visit her family. And when she had food back in Ghana, you know, all that sickness went away. So that tells you something. That tells you something. And I just remembered too. I just remembered there was there was a this was like back in maybe 2004, 2005. I saw a show. Uh it was probably a medical show. It was probably Grey's Anatomy or Scrubs. But an African child got sick, or he needed some type of surgery, and a doctor or a nurse was like making a home, like a meal from scratch. And the head doctor or the manager was like, it's like, why are you doing that? And she's like, well, in order to treat this patient, you know the patient has to be healthy, but our food is too processed, so we have to feed him something where he'll eat, so we could do the surgery. And that, like back then, I didn't pay no mind to it, but now it's like wow, like we have to go out of our way to find these ingredients. And then there is the carb foods, like lasagna, spaghetti, and everything Italian. you know um I assume that they eat that all the time in Italy, and they're as healthy as a freaking ox. But over here in US, if we eat it, it's literally a death sentence. So why is that? It's because their flour is not bleached. I am still positive that, you know because it is in the United States, it's still processed in its own way, but at least it's a better option than all the other poison that we're getting. So So the flour that we consume is normally bleached, but you want to get it, if you can, you want to get it unbleached. You know. Wow. See? Like, proved it right there. Matter of fact. Shame. It's a damn shame. So the food that we eat here in the United States being poisoned is unfortunately unavoidable. So nothing that we could do about that. We're complaining about food prices, but we're not complaining about what's in the food. Poison. What can I do? Oh well.